Today we are working on going upside down in lots of different ways. So we're going to start standing, have a bolster, blanket, block, couple blankets. In the upside down, we're going to do a couple of different with the legs actually up. So if you have a wall, cool. If not, it's not essential. But if you have a chair, we'll do the chair with legs up for Shavasana. So make sure that's nearby. Right, and we're going to start immediately just moving in and out of Warrior One, moving toward Humble Warrior. So moving toward an active inversion. So let's stand nice and tall, weight in the heels, spread out your toes so you can feel not the toes, but the toe mounds anchored to the floor. And just take a couple of breaths here, just landing, not landing on your feet, but landing body and mind, committing to the next 45 minutes. Okay, and then bend both knees and step your left leg back. So Warrior One, first side. So make sure immediately as you bend into your front knee that you're getting a stretch up the back calf. And then straighten the leg. And then you know the drill. We're going to move in and out of the pose a few times before we hold it. So on the inhale, we come into the pose, the arms lift. On the exhale, we lower and release. And depending on how long or how wide your stance is, make sure that as you're bending your front knee, it's just right over that ankle. It's aligned with the ankle. So if you have a really short stance, make sure you're not over bending the knee so that it's over the toes. A couple more. Okay, this one, let's stay in the warrior. And then before we do humble warrior, I want you to hook your thumbs and then with your arms overhead, gently pull the thumbs apart. So just getting a nice spaciousness through the shoulders here, very active, but creating some space. Take one more breath here. And then go ahead, lower, straighten the legs. We're going to back out, roll the shoulders back, clasp your hands, and then gently, as best you can, pull the hands off of your back. Take a big breath in. And now exhale, come into bent knee and start to hinge your torso over that front leg. And as long as it feels okay for your neck, go ahead and drop your head. Keep pulling the hands off of your back. Take one more breath. And then very slowly come on up. Release the arms back up. Straighten the leg and float the arms down. Now, with as much control as you can, step the back leg forward. Try to keep your balance there. Plug the toe mounds, weight in the heels. And then bend your knees. Step the right leg back. Make sure you're in a nice position for yourself. And then straighten that front leg, right? And then inhale, arms lift. And exhale, arms lower, relax. Inhale, Warrior One. And exhale, release. So a few more with your breath. Anchor through the back heel, pinky toe mound, side of the foot. Okay, and then the next one, let's stay in the warrior. Hook your thumbs. If you can remember, switch the clasp of the thumbs and gently pull apart. Okay, and then go ahead, lower, release, straighten the knee. Roll the shoulders back. Clasp your hands. And again, switch the clasp. Try to make it uncomfortable, non-dominant, right? And then pick the hands off of the back. Big breath in. And then exhale, bend into the front knee and start to hinge your torso forward. Pick the hands off of the back, drop the head if that feels all right. Anchor through both heels. Okay, inhale, come all the way up. Arms come with you. And then exhale, lower, straighten. Right, and then step forward with control. Okay. So we're just gonna have hands at heart center. I wanna move in and out of a few chair poses. So take a breath in. And then exhale, bend the knees, gently squeeze your legs together, or toward each other. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, squeeze the feet, the legs toward each other and bend. Inhale up, just a couple more. One more, and then we're gonna stay in chair pose for 2 breaths. Keep the weight in the heels, plug the toe mounds. All right, and come on up. All right, let's step wide. So nice mild inversion here. Actually, grab your block and just put it out in front of you. Okay, and then bend your knees. We have not stretched and really warmed up the hamstrings too much, just a little bit in the warriors. So bend the knees, big breath in, and then exhale, hinge it forward. Don't reach for the block, but if you can reach the block with bent elbows, then I want you to touch it. So I want you to keep the shoulders back, head back, weight in the heels, plug the toe mounds. And then working on, maybe moving the torso a little closer toward the floor, trying to get your head, even if it's just a little bit, trying to get the head lower than your heart. So you don't have to go too far here. And then let's bend into the right knee, stretch gently through that left inner thigh. Keep the weight in the heels. And then let's switch. Bend the left knee. Okay, and then come back to both knees bent. One more stretch here down the middle. And then on your inhale, come on up, bring the block with you, take your time. And parallel your feet together. Okay, we're moving down to the floor on our backs. We're gonna do active bridge pose, and then we're gonna do supported bridge pose with the block. So keep this block next to you. Okay. So arms are alongside, feet a nice comfortable distance. And then on your inhale, lift your hips. On your exhale, lower. So as you're moving here, I want you to actively press your arms, the back of your head, and your feet into the floor as you lift. All of those support your low back as you lift. Keep going. Now, remember the chair pose we did and that squeezing of the legs toward each other? I want you to try that here. And it's not so much that I want the knees, I certainly don't want the knees together, but It prevents the knees and the legs from splaying out to the sides. And it just brings a little more activation into the inner thighs and the hamstrings. Okay, we're going to do one more and then we're going to stay in bridge. And then Kelly, if staying in bridge pose is too much for that right leg, go ahead and put the block underneath the pelvis and we'll meet you there in just a couple of breaths. But while you're here, energetically draw the feet toward your buttocks, draw your legs toward each other. So that's two different kinds of actions. We'll stretch out the hamstrings and the buttocks shortly. Re-engage your arms, press them into the floor. Take one more breath here. Okay, go ahead, lower down. We'll get the block underneath the sacrum in just a sec. Let's hug the right knee into the chest. And then hug the left. Okay, now go ahead, lift your hips, block first height only underneath the sacrum. Just feel an immediate release of pressure side to side. And then feet walk out just a little bit, turn them slightly inward. So I don't want there to be any awkwardness, any negative sensitivity or sensation through the legs and hips here. And the legs are just kind of tilted slightly inward. So a really gentle and hopefully relaxing supported bridge pose. Let's stay here for 3 more breaths. Really trying to fill up the space of the abdomen, the ribs, and the chest. Breath work is what propels our lymph fluid up. It doesn't have a pump of its own, so getting upside down like this and then using big breath gets that lymph to move. Okay, and then let's, pardon me, walk the feet together, lift your hips, remove the block, and come on down. All right, and then let's send the right leg up, hands behind the thigh, just a quick stretch here of the hamstrings. Flex the foot, so flare the toes. Press your leg into your hands rather than trying to draw the leg toward you. I want you to push the leg into your hands so you create an arch in the low back, your natural arch. And by reaching the leg into your hands and like feel as if someone's pulling up on your ankle. So you should still be getting a stretch, but you're lengthening instead of trying to shorten and pull the leg toward you. Stretch it in a different way. 2 more breaths here. And then release your hands, lower the leg straight down. Straighten out that left leg. Already 5 or so breaths, this right leg feels remarkably different than the left. And I'm wondering if you're feeling that the left doesn't feel bad or there's no negative words associated with it, but now that you've stretched the right, there's an aliveness to the right side that there isn't in the left. These really subtle differences that keeps us coming back to the mat. All right, shake out the legs. And then let's switch. So right foot is on the floor, left leg is up, and then press the left leg into your hands. If you can, I don't want you to, if your knee has to be really bent here, don't do that added action. Flex the foot, flare the toes. Okay, take one more breath here. And then at the tail end of your exhale, lower the leg down. Straighten the right. Just take a couple of breaths here. Okay, shake it out. Right, bend your knees, make your way to your side. And press up. Okay, if you took socks off to do our standing poses, put them back on. So we're gonna do legs up with a bolster underneath us. If you have a wall, use the wall. If not, we can do it with just suspended in the air. I'll leave it up to you to decide which one you'd like. Now, with my wall situation, I'm going to need, well, my head might be cut off. We'll see. Or maybe I'll lower my camera. I'm going to put a blanket down, but it's just a thin folded blanket. I don't want a thick blanket. I don't want height underneath your head. You're going to be coming into a little bit of a back bend, so you don't need to lift your head as high. Okay, so your prop is going to be on the side. I don't want you to lay on it. And then get up close to the wall. You're on your forearms. You gracefully or non-gracefully fall to the floor. Okay, and then you lift your hips, bolster. You could certainly use a block, use a blanket or like a big cushion. It's underneath like sacrum, low back area, so that your buttocks, you of course, in the direction of my camera, you can't really see, but your buttocks is almost kind of coming off the other side a little bit, not a lot. And then you relax the torso. I'm going to move backward a little bit because I don't know how you feel, but if you're in the slightest wrong position, my legs, they want to like fall over. So you have to be able to relax your legs completely without them wanting to drop to the sides. So maneuver yourself and so that you can make that happen. No effort in the legs here. That's, of course, if you're letting your legs rest against the wall. If you're just staying engaged with the legs up in the air, you don't have to worry about that because you're remaining engaged. And we will lift the legs off of the wall for like the final few breaths. But right now, just enjoy this upward drainage. Whenever you have a big week, when you've been standing, moving, just doing a lot around your home, your garden, whatever it is that you've been doing, and your legs start to feel really heavy and tired, please do this. Do this on your bed. Do this, after maybe a little bit of stretching. Do it when you can't take it anymore and you just need 3 minutes of a break. So in this position, you should feel an opening around the chest, dropping back of the shoulders, and an opening at the throat. Now, depending on how you're feeling, I want to offer a couple of options. Option one is to stay exactly as you are with your feet up against the wall, if you've chosen the wall. If you want to engage a little bit, just lift one leg away from the wall. And then hold that. If you want to engage a good amount, lift both legs. And if you're still in the air with no wall, you can stay there if you can, or hug your knees to your chest. So you still are upside down, but you get the knees and the legs relaxed. So you pick your path. What are those books? You pick your adventure. In a couple of breaths, if you're only doing one leg, I'll cue you to switch. Okay, go ahead, switch legs if you're doing one. Okay, now I want to try something. Now, what I want everyone to do, regardless of if you're at the wall or not, pull both feet off of the wall, and I want you to start to bring your legs closer to your body. So it could be a hamstring stretch. Your buttocks is likely coming off of the prop, but your back hopefully is still slightly supported there. So just a little bit of a compression in the belly and in the guts. So that when we release, after that compression, a whole lot of fluid, water, blood flows back through. Just a couple more breaths here. Okay, bend your knees, but stay in that position where your legs are kind of over your body. So a little more squishing. Take 2 breaths here. Legs kind of need to move away in order for a big breath to happen. Okay, now slowly bring your feet either to the wall or to the floor. Pause. And then do what you need to do to remove your prop from underneath you and settle your hips back on the floor. Okay, we are going to crawl onto the belly for a couple of locust poses. Nice to do for symmetry for the spine. So it doesn't matter what direction you're facing, slowly slide, make your way onto your belly. Okay, and bring your arms alongside of you. And on your inhale, lift everything up. Hips stay heavy. On the exhale, lower. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, lift. Keep the chin slightly tucked. Try to lift those legs a little more. Good. Exhale, lower, 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Hands underneath the forehead. And rock out the hips. And just pause here a couple breaths. Okay. Press yourself up. If you have any water or tea near you, take a sip. And I'm saying that for a couple of reasons. In terms of the inverting and the flushing of the lymph system, of the lymphatic fluid, extra water today is a great idea. Okay. And as the weather turns cool, it becomes more dry. So water, especially warm water, which is my go-to, is also a great idea. Okay, Shavasana. We're going to do a supported legs up version or variation of what we just did. So this is where I would recommend a chair. We are only going to do, though, this time, a nice, gentle, small folded blanket. So not as drastic as the block or the bolster, what you might have just been using. Second blanket is for your head and neck. Now, again, we're doing a mild inversion, so do a little bit less of a blanket that you normally would do when we're in Shavasana. So I normally have a double folded one like this. I love this setup. But for this one, I'm going to do, we haven't talked about it in a while, but this corner is going to go right underneath the last neck vertebra that sticks out. You can find that on your cell, and that's where that's going to go. Okay. Have an eye pillow nearby. Let me move my water to the other side. All right. And then when I'm on this chair, I don't love my legs like bent perpendicularly. I want them elevated even more. So whatever you have at your disposal to kind of keep your legs a little more lifted. And then I hadn't mentioned it, but if you have a weight that you like to put on your low belly, go ahead and grab that. I brought up ankle weights, so I'm actually going to use one of those. Okay. So we're going to sit on that blanket, but sit forward on it, because remember, when you're doing an inversion, you want your buttocks to kind of be coming off of your support. So your low back is kind of dipping. It's like you're sticking your butt out, but in a nice, really mild, gentle way. Okay. Situate your clothing. Relocate your eye pillow. Get your head and neck supported. Roll the blanket underneath toward the floor a couple of times. Create that nice nest. Okay. Any weight from your eye pillow goes on your forehead. If you open the arms out to the sides, please try to rest on the pinky side of the hand so the arms are rolled slightly inward. and make any final adjustments that you need. I want your body to be as comfortable as possible. So that as you rest, you can feel simultaneously heavy from the props, from the comfort, from the work and the activity of class, but then the resulting lightness that you get from rest, from having the legs elevated. From your breath becoming soft and subtle. Feel all of these things happening at the same time. And give yourself over to that. Welcome it with open arms. And you find yourself in Shavasana. Please bring awareness back into your breath. And as you draw a deep breath in and out, just circle your ankles nice and slowly and switch directions. And then point and flex your feet. And then just lift your leg off of your surface. Bend the knee a little bit, bring the knee in toward you so you're at once bending the knee and stimulating at the hip crease. And if you have a weight, now's a good time to remove that. Okay. And then before we roll over, let's slide arms overhead for a big stretch. And then make your way onto your side. And then press yourself up. Let's sit over the blanket that was underneath your pelvis. And then sit on just the edge of it so it's tipping your pelvis forward a bit. And while you're taking a few breaths here, catalog how you feel differently. In your body, in your mind, in your mood, in your energy level, in your being. And to say thank you for all of those shifts and changes. Soften your hands to your heart with a slight bow to your head in silent gratitude. And thank you so much for your practice. May we always be mindful of what we hold in our thoughts, in our words, and in our hearts. Namaste.